Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we dive into one of the most powerful and feared weapons in the Middle East, a missile that could completely change the balance of power between Iran, Israel, and the West. This is the story of the Sejjil missile, Iran's most dangerous and game-changing weapon. For years, Iran's missile program has been shrouded in mystery, secrecy, and defiance. Despite crippling sanctions and international pressure, Tehran has continued to develop a sophisticated range of ballistic missiles, each one more powerful, accurate, and far-reaching than the last. But among them all, one name stands out: Sejjil. To understand why the Sejjil missile is such a threat, we need to understand its origins, its technology, and its purpose. And once you do, you'll see why military analysts are calling it the game changer in the Middle East arms race. The Sejjil missile, sometimes referred to as the Sejjil 2, first appeared in 2008 during a highly publicized test launch in Iran. The footage, broadcast on state television, showed a sleek, dark missile roaring into the sky, leaving behind a trail of smoke and fire. At first glance, it looked like just another show of force by Tehran. But what military experts noticed immediately was something different. The Sejjil was not like Iran's older missiles. Unlike the Shahab series, which used liquid fuel, the Sejjil was powered by solid fuel, a breakthrough that instantly changed the game. Why? Because solid fuel missiles can be launched faster, hidden easier, and transported safely compared to liquid-fueled ones. That means Iran could launch the Sejjil within minutes of receiving an order, giving enemies like Israel or the U.S. almost no warning. In simple terms, speed means surprise. And in modern warfare, surprise can decide everything. Let's break down what makes the Sejjil so powerful. It's a two-stage solid-fueled ballistic missile with a range of 0 to 500 kilometers. That means it can easily strike anywhere in the Middle East, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, and even U.S. military bases in the region. Its warhead capacity is believed to be around 500 to 1,000 kilograms, enough to carry high explosive or potentially even unconventional payloads. The Sejjil's re-entry speed and altitude make it difficult to intercept even for advanced missile defense systems like Israel's Arrow 3 or the U.S. THAAD. It's built for mobility, launched from road mobile launchers, allowing Iran to move it undetected and fire from hidden locations across the country. In short, it's fast, it's powerful, and it's almost impossible to stop once it's in the air. Iran proudly calls the Sejjil a symbol of independence and deterrence. After decades of isolation, Tehran wanted a weapon that didn't rely on foreign technology, and the Sejjil, designed and built entirely inside Iran, became that symbol. Iran's leaders have described it as the sword of resistance, a deterrent meant to keep Israel and the U.S. from ever attacking Iranian soil, but others see it differently, not as a defensive weapon, but as a strategic offensive tool. Western analysts warn that with missiles like the Sejjil, Iran could project power far beyond its borders, threatening not only Israel but also Europe. Its range covers Istanbul, Athens, parts of Eastern Europe, and nearly every U.S. military installation from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean. And that's exactly why the Sejjil is so dangerous. To understand how this missile changes everything, we have to look at its timing. In the last few years, the Middle East has been sliding toward greater instability, from Israel's confrontation with Hezbollah to the shadow wars between Iran and U.S. forces in Syria and Iraq. At the same time, talks over Iran's nuclear program have collapsed, and Tehran has enriched uranium to near weapons-grade levels. Now imagine this: a missile like Sejjil, capable of reaching Israel in less than 10 minutes, carrying a heavy warhead, possibly even a nuclear one. That's the scenario military planners in Tel Aviv fear the most. The existence of the Sejjil forces Israel to consider preemptive strikes, because waiting for Iran to fire first could be suicidal. In turn, Iran sees any Israeli strike as justification to unleash its entire arsenal. This is the essence of what experts call mutually assured destruction, a balance of terror that keeps both sides on constant alert, But it's not just about Israel. The Sejjil missile gives Iran regional dominance. Neighboring countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Bahrain, all hosts to U.S. military bases, are now within direct range. Iran can threaten these countries not through invasion, but through the fear of a devastating strike. This missile also gives Iran leverage in negotiations. When Tehran sits down at the table with the U.S. or the EU, it's not just talking as a nation under sanctions, it's talking as a nation that can strike back hard. It's a political weapon as much as it is a military one. Iranian military officials claim that the Sejjil represents the next phase of their defense doctrine, one focused on speed, mobility, and precision. Each new test of the missile sends a message. Iran can not only defend itself, it can hit back anywhere, anytime. In a speech marking the Sejjil's 10th anniversary, an Iranian commander said, "This missile is not a weapon of aggression, but a message to those who dream of attacking us. The era when Iran could be threatened is over." But outside Iran, those words only raised more alarm. Israel's defense minister immediately called the Sejjil test a red line. U.S. intelligence warned that Iran was moving closer to having a credible long-range deterrent, capable of reaching American assets in the region. The Pentagon even revised its defense plans around the Persian Gulf to account for the possibility of Sejjil-class missile strikes. So what happens if war breaks out? If Israel or the U.S. were to strike Iran's nuclear sites, Iran could respond with a barrage of Sejjil missiles aimed at Israeli cities, air bases, and even naval forces in the Mediterranean. Given the speed and range of the missile, defenses would have seconds, not minutes, to respond. Meanwhile, Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iranian-backed militias in Iraq could launch simultaneous rocket attacks, overwhelming air defenses even further. Within hours, the entire region could be on fire. This is why many analysts believe the Sejjil doesn't just change the military balance, it changes the political calculus. No one can afford to misjudge Tehran's capabilities anymore. Interestingly, while the world focuses on Iran's nuclear program, experts argue that its missile program is equally, if not more, dangerous. You can stop uranium enrichment with sanctions or diplomacy, but you can't stop a missile once it's launched. And unlike nuclear weapons, which require years of complex preparation, missiles like the Sejjil are ready right now. That's what makes it so terrifying. Every successful test, every televised launch is both a message and a warning. It tells Iran's enemies, "We're ready, and we can reach you." Despite that, Iran continues to frame the Sejjil as a defensive deterrent. Officials claim it's designed to ensure that no foreign power dares to attack Iran again, a lesson they say was learned from the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, when cities like Tehran and Isfahan were hit by Iraqi missiles with no means to respond. The Sejjil, in their eyes, guarantees that no such humiliation will happen again. For ordinary Iranians, the missile is a symbol of pride, proof that their country can build world-class technology despite sanctions. But for the international community, it's a reminder of how fragile peace in the Middle East truly is. The Sejjil also opens the door to even more advanced weapons. Reports suggest that Iran is developing longer-range versions possibly capable of carrying multiple warheads or reaching targets as far as southern Europe. If that happens, the balance of power won't just shift in the Middle East, it will shift globally. That's why Western intelligence agencies are tracking every Sejjil test, every new launch pad, every transporter truck. They know that one successful strike from this missile could reshape the modern battlefield forever. In the end, the Sejjil missile is more than just a weapon, it's a message, a symbol, and a warning rolled into one. It represents Iran's determination to defend itself, its defiance of global pressure, and its growing confidence on the world stage. But it also represents danger, because in a region where one spark can ignite a war, weapons like the Sejjil make that spark far more likely to explode into flames. The balance of fear may keep both sides from launching, but as history has shown, All it takes is a single miscalculation to change everything. And if that day comes, the world will see the Sejjil not as a deterrent, but as the first weapon to open the gates of a war no one can control. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.